You made is it okay to share specifics?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. 100%.
1.3 million bucks in 2024?
That is correct, yes. In deposits.
How does that sound? Me saying it, you hearing it.
If you would have told me 10 years ago when I had to sell my engagement ring for rent money.
Wow.
And coming off of being a stay-at-home mom for 10 months, living on, family of four. My husband was making $1,700 a month working at Sprint. If you would have told me then that I'd be making the money now, gosh, I used to pray about the things that I have now.
What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins, and we are on site at a Power Player Mastermind today, which is why we created the podcast. We are in Scottsdale, Arizona. We're at a retreat house. We just had 48 agencies inside sharing ideas on how they can level up and scale their business in 2025. If you would like more information and like to hang out with powerful speakers that were here and the members and Ashley, who I'm about to jump to an interview in a few minutes, you can go to CodyAskins.com, click on Power Players and learn more about it. I'm excited for today's interview because we have someone that has been crushing it, making over 7 figures a year, multiple years in a row. And here's what's really cool. She's the first female partner with a private brokerage setting in the final expense industry with NASB, North American Senior Benefits. Please welcome Ashley Colie.
Hello, Mr. Cody.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. This has been quite an experience, to say the least. Just over the past 24 hours being at this retreat and being able to partner with you as well.
Thank you.
It's just really blown my mind tremendously.
In what way? Because you were already doing really well, by the way.
Yeah, well, I think...
You don't have to have this, right?
Right. Well, I wouldn't say the word not have to have it because I think that people always need to elevate their skill sets if they're really trying to progress in life. So I wanted to be the dumbest person in the room. And that's exactly how you made me feel today. No, I'm just kidding. No, because I just think that the world of financial services is so broad. It's so big. And you look at just the life insurance side of it. And I think I got the stats. What was it in 2023 that they paid out $55 billion in commissions. And it's a $995 billion market just alone in the United States, just in life insurance. And
wow.
Hey, I just want to expand that and get a bigger piece of that pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your first, I got a bunch of questions.
Sure.
You made is it okay to share specifics?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. 100%.
1.3 million bucks in 2024?
That is correct, yes. In deposits.
How does that sound? Me saying it, you hearing it.
If you would have told me 10 years ago when I had to sell my engagement ring for rent money.
Wow.
And coming off of being a stay-at-home mom for 10 months, living on, family of four. My husband was making $1,700 a month working at Sprint. If you would have told me then that I'd be making the money now, gosh, I used to pray about the things that I have now. So cool. You just sometimes have to pinch yourself is this real? And in my opinion, it's the American dream.
Yeah.
That we get the opportunity to have. And when you're in this realm of financial services, that's exactly what you get is this opportunity.
Yeah.
And everybody wants that.
Totally.
But not everybody's willing to fight for it.
100%.
Yeah.
How do you do that? I want to go back in your story, but before I go there, how do you do super well, stay in touch with reality, not become, a show off and super arrogant? You know what I mean? Because you are very grounded, very humble, down to earth. You still invest in knowledge in your business like crazy. You've probably invested more in the last year than you ever did years before, you know, because you're I want to keep learning and growing. Where does the drive come from?
Well, I know who made me. And I think that when you discover who made you, but then also why they made you, and I think you can just truly, when you have a why that's bigger than you and it's constantly in front of your face, I do think that in the beginning, when you start a career in financial services, whichever field it is, life insurance, Medicare, PNC, you're like, man, I just want to make six figures. And then you make six figures, and then your dream has to get bigger. So if you were to ask me what was my dream back then, back in 2015 when I went all in the realm of insurance, I just wanted a grocery cart.
Grocery
Cart. Because when you have 11 months where every single week you have a basket for $30 of groceries, you're getting the ground chuck, not the ground beef, that's on sale for $1.25 for your kids. It does something to you. And I think, how do you remain humble? I always remember where I came from.
Yeah.
And, you know, if there was anything that I was going to fear, it'd be that, is I never want to go back to that moment. But I also think that moment was my hero, the person that said, hey, enough's enough. You need to go all in.
Yeah.
And so I just look back at that moment. I'm so grateful for that person who I was back then that said, hey, listen, you need to take the risk. And the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
Yeah.
But with that risk, it's going to take great sacrifice. So that was a lot. And I think a lot of people, they go on this exciting journey, but on your journey, in order to elevate your perspective, in order to climb that mountain, it's you climbing a mountain. You're having to take the uphill battle, and a lot of people don't prepare for that. You can assume the best, but are you preparing for crisis as well?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what I did very well. Was I always assumed the best, prepared for crisis. I knew that there was going to be obstacles. Like, you look at Romans 5:3 in the Bible, where it says, through your struggles, it creates perseverance, and perseverance, hope, character. So the only way to get the best version of you is to go through crap. And that's biblical.
Yeah.
You can look at all the business principles on the planet. It's all based in the Bible.
Yeah.
You can go find your answers there. So I don't know. I guess I feel that God just kind of prepared me for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you view all of those super hard, struggling moments that you went through as a blessing, as character building.
Yes.
Did you think that then, though?
No, not at all. As I'm sitting in the corner, bawling my eyes out, as you're trying to, you just had this hope. And what's the point of faith if you knew what the answers were?
Yeah.
And I think that people forget about that, is that you got to step into faith. You got to step into betting on yourself.
Yeah.
And I knew the God that made me, so it's like, what have I got to fear?
Is that what selling an engagement ring means? Betting on myself? Walk me through that. Like, what
it's
what
so
did you
painful,
do?
Cody.
What,
It was so
what did you
painful.
do before insurance? Like, what's your career journey
Yeah,
been?
sure, for sure. Graduate from East Carolina University, went through about 5 different majors, did absolutely nothing with my degree in communications.
Communications.
Yeah,
okay,
I was a communications
okay.
media.
What would
I was
you
going to be a
use-
news reporter.
Ah.
Oh, right?
Do you miss that?
No, not at
Missed
all.
your calling?
Nope, not at all. Graduated, did nothing with my degree whatsoever. Was
Yeah.
a bartender and a server for the next few years, and
What did you enjoy bartending and serving? Did you learn?
I felt
things?
like I learned a lot, yeah,
Was it-
because you learned, hey, didn't matter if somebody tipped you or didn't tip you, it was all a numbers game. And then you also, I felt like, I feel like grit lies inside of all of us.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to step into the environment where grit can exist, where you can ignite that grit. And I feel like bartending and serving, that was exactly it, because you didn't know what table was going to give you that good tip,
Yeah.
right? But you work hard for it. And I just knew, hey, if I knew the menu, if I knew the products, if I could have more personality at this table, that, hey, maybe this person would actually give me a little bit more tip. But then I realized, Cody, and gosh, you just think about all the connections and the dots that really kind of align with your story. And that's where I started aligning, having deeper connections with people when I was serving them food. So therefore, they would keep coming back and they would keep requesting me as their server. And then that's how I landed my next job, was to be starting out at $1,500 a month in salary as a, goodness gracious, I don't know how you would actually say it, but a gym consultant, at Gold's Gym. And worked my way up the corporate ladder for 7 years, and 29 being a Gold's Gym general manager, making $2,500 a month, working 80 hours a week.
A GM.
Yeah. Title with Oh my gosh.
Did you make less when you became a GM than what you were doing before?
So
were you in sales or?
Yeah, it was $1,500 a month in the pretty much handing out towels and selling gym memberships. Worked my way up that ladder. $2,500 base salary plus a little bit of commission, maybe a bonus here or there. Can't tell you how many darn promotions I would miss. Not because I guess you could maybe say popularity or definitely I don't think it was. I missed a lot of promotions just because it had nothing to do with a metric. It was based on that person knew this person. And I was sick and tired of that.
Yeah,
I wanted to step into a career that was based on my performance, based on the results that I could bring to the company, not popularity or who I knew.
So you felt like you had the production
Oh my gosh, yeah.
to warrant being
100%.
promoted along the way.
100%.
How'd that make you feel?
Like crap. And then you look at the result of it. Why are you working so hard for so little? And I just realized that's not security at all. And a lot of people think that, oh, a W-2 is security. No, it's not. If you don't take the risk, you're going to end up working for somebody that did. And that's why I took the risk. You've got to be an entrepreneur. You have to own your own business, period.
Do you think everyone is built that way and wants that
No,
life?
not at all.
Okay.
And I'm very grateful for that because
Sure.
I feel like, God gives, gifts to everybody, and
Totally.
just to be able to ignite that gift, whether that's a W-2, whether that's an entrepreneur, whether that's working at a gas station, but dang, be the best darn person at it. But I knew for my story, I always knew. If you would ask me when I was 18, Ashley, what do you want to do in life? It wasn't what I wanted to do. It's what kind of life did I want to have? And I wanted the life that I could travel the world, I could be significant in my community, I could make a lot of money, I could spend time with my family, but I could have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt like God was putting me in his waiting room, because somebody could want those things. But if your character doesn't line up or your work ethic, you're just going to keep sitting in that waiting room. It's like, this is one of the reasons why a 5-year-old doesn't get a driver's license. They don't have the ability to receive, to be able to sustain that blessing that God wants to give them, or the world wants to give them, or whatever.
Sure.
And so that's why I just think it's so important that, hey, are you the type of person that's going to be able to align with the dreams that you have? That's why people say, look, if you want to become a multimillionaire, you have to think like one first.
How do you start to think like one first if you aren't around anyone who does, and you have never thought like that, and you've always thought significantly smaller, and it's almost felt like it was called for a special part of the population but not for you,
Right. I do believe that once you kind of step into the thing that scares you, like uncertainty, that's where everything that you're wanting is.
Yep.
So I was okay with stepping into that.
Yeah.
And whether that meant being 100% honest, being 100% transparent, being bold, being assertive. And I would just step into those characteristics. And I realized that every time I stepped into those characteristics, fear would be eliminated. And then my capacity would grow.
Yeah, because then you're accomplishing more than you were, and you're, yeah. It makes a ton of sense. So, okay, the Gold's Gym,
For
right?
sure.
That was the gym.
Yeah.
Old school.
Word up to the bird up. Yep.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, did you like fitness? No, I probably was the most unhealthiest person ever.
But you like fitness now? Or?
But I like the result. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
well,
I'm
everybody likes it.
absolutely the healthiest I've ever been. 100%.
Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
It's cool. What was after Gold's Gym? Keep us going.
Oh my gosh.
this-
What
on
was
this
after
Ashley
Gold's
journey.
Gym? All right, you ready for this?
Ready.
So I remember I was 29 years young, and I remember just praying and asking God, get me out of your waiting room. I can't take this kind of career anymore. And I just remember in my 800 square foot apartment on the second floor with my baby boy and being newly married, having to go file Chapter 13 bankruptcy after also repoing my car. And imagine living on no credit for the next 7 years, and you really can't own anything, and you have to I feel like you have two paths. You can either be forced to be a great financial steward or be a worse financial steward.
Yeah.
And I did not want to go through that cycle.
Most people go this way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And I feel like if God could trust me with a little, then maybe one day he could trust me with a lot. And I just remember that when, kind of like fast forward just a wee bit, but in 2012, 15, coming off of a Christmas where I was a stay-at-home mom. We had Chloe. She was about maybe 10 months old, and we put 10 gifts under the tree from Big Lots, and it was wrapped in birthday paper because we did not have the money for it.
Wow.
And then that's when the next month I had to sell my engagement ring at Perry's Emporium in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I just remember begging him, can you please give me $1,200? Because that's how much our rent was. And he said, I'll give you $1,100.
What was your engagement ring originally purchased for? Do you remember?
Oh, gosh. I think it was about maybe $1,600 or something.
Okay. You wanted 12.
Yeah.
He gave you 11?
Oh, $1,100.
Yeah, close.
But here's
not bad negotiating.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I tried. But, I mean, we're talking like tears in my eyes. But here's the cool thing is you fast forward 10 years later, this past year, I was able to step into that same place from the same guy, okay, and pick out the engagement ring of what I wanted, plus the wedding band. And then 2 months later, I had my mom go in there on her birthday, and I said, Mom, you can pick out whatever you want. Any type of jewelry you want, you just pick it out. It's your birthday. And she picked out the same wedding band that I have. And she also picked out an engagement ring, too. It was, I mean, just amazing. I just feel like this arena, it just is a vehicle to really give you that opportunity that based on your character, based on your work ethic, guess what? You can really kind of step into what money can be used for. It's a tool. That's all it is. And it just gives you choices. That's all it does.
True. It does. Okay, so you sell an engagement ring.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for like money to join this business, or it was.
No, it was just for rent.
Just for rent. And how much was rent back then?
$1,200. Yeah.
It was almost enough for rent. Yeah.
Yeah. It was awful, man. You just think about, like, you are where you are in life because of the way you think. And some people say, well, I just didn't get the opportunities, that maybe other people have. Well, my question to them would be, are you optimistic? Because you're always going to attract that what you are.
Yeah.
Or
That's good.
You're just not the right person on the inside that's able to even see an opportunity when it really does come around because you're so focused on other things. And that was me.
Maybe not yet, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I realized it wasn't so much the career as it was, Ash, you need to focus on you, and you keep arguing with Dustin and you keep having all these fights and, it was always about money because we didn't have enough of it. And then I realized, like, it's got to be enough. And I think that's where we were, was we just had to realize where we are is enough. Because even now, if I was stripped from everything, all the perishable items, would it be okay? And I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, it would. Because
what makes you the most wealthiest person is the relationships that you have with people. And I think you asked me in the very beginning, what allows you to be humble? I'm just so grateful. I think if people could just exude the gratitude, I'm so grateful. I get to wake up another day and just help people.
Yeah.
So
it's powerful.
It is, very much so.
What happened after the engagement ring? That's when you were a stay-at-home mom for a little bit, or no?
I was. Well, when I sold the engagement ring, that's when I told Dustin, I said, hey, I'm going to work. I don't know how in the world we're going to pay for daycare, but both the kids are going to go into daycare, and we are just going to take one day at a time, and I'm just going to figure it out. And I can't tell you, Thursday would come around, and we would have nothing in our bank account because he was working at Sprint, making $1,700, like I said before, and it was as if, okay. And then, bam, something would happen, and we would always find a way. Whether I had to sell something, everything in our house was a hand-me-down. Everything. All my clothes, I would never shop at Target. It was always Walmart. It was always thrift store. Gosh, my dream was, could I just get my kids to, if I could just buy them a new pair of shoes, how cool would that be? Because everything they wore was a hand-me-down. Matter of fact, I remember their grandparents would send $20 for their birthday, and I would take that cash, and I would say, hey, we need to hold on to this for Daddy's cash for gas money so he can get to work. Yeah. Really. That's what I'm saying. I know what it was like to go through that, and it was, that was 10 years ago, and it feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what's even crazier? I feel like I'm on borrowed time. This was about, I think maybe, it was about 8 years ago. And when you're poor, you make dumb decisions sometimes. Not.
Like what type of decisions?
Okay, so for example, we didn't have the money to get new tires on our car. So I got used tires from maybe not a very ethical place. but it was very
Okay.
cheap.
What does that mean?
They gave me a deal, right?
Okay.
And they didn't put the tire on correctly, and I got in a massive car accident.
Oh, no.
And I remember like spinning out of control, about to go on oncoming traffic. I hit the guardrail, and we're talking
gosh.
about 6 to 5 inches. The cop comes up to me, and he's like, ma'am, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know. Am I in heaven? Like, I don't know what's going on right now. And he said, ma'am, you must have had a guardian angel on your side, because just a few more inches and you would have gone into ongoing traffic on the highway and you would have been dead. And I just remember that like it was because of that stupid tire.
Did you feel like it was a shortcut that backfired, or what do you?
I think it just pissed me off,
Yeah.
because money is just a tool, and it gives you more choices: where you take your kids to school, what restaurants you go to, what cars you drive, what neighborhood you stay into.
Yeah.
And the experiences that you can give other people. And, to whom much is given, much is also required. So I know it's a big responsibility, as you grow in wealth. But I just think that, my gosh, I don't know. I guess that's what I thought was the right thing to do. Don't ever go buy new tires.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Well, you had to find a way to get tires, I guess.
This is true.
But
Very
wild
much.
experience to go through.
Very
and
much.
and then, were you bouncing around between different jobs? Like, at what
No,
point?
I went all in with NASB. February of 2015, made $50,000 that year. Okay.
In 2015, in the
2015.
those last 10, 11 months.
Yeah, it was so stupid. I was so dumb. And I feel like you either
Well, it was
learn...
a lot more than you were making.
Yeah, 100%. But I feel like you either learn mistakes two ways, either through mentors, by somebody else's mistakes, or your own,
Yeah.
right? As you are on this
Amen.
journey of
Amen.
going through gaining experience, because experience, gets you that wisdom. So I made $50,000 that year, and I remember going and sitting with my CPA, and he's like, Ash, what is this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you barely spent any money. You barely spent any money on the raw materials to fuel your business. You spent maybe $1,000 or $2,000 on leads.
That's it.
That's it.
The whole year.
So it wasn't even my coach, Jordan Smith or Greg Baden, that were saying, yo, you need to go get some more leads and get more raw material. No, here my CPA is like, Ash, you need to go spend more money on leads. Period. And so I just remember that next year.
Because you owed so much in taxes, you
No!
should have spent more money?
No,
or
I didn't owe anything in taxes that
You clearly
year.
could have fueled and made more?
I could have made 6 figures.
Yeah.
I was thinking small.
Yeah.
You think small, you're going to get small. And so
Well,
then,
also, too, though, when you come from, like, not having it, and
Yeah.
it's, like, every penny and keeping $20,
Yeah.
and all this stuff, it's like, then you will make 50 grand, and it's in that example, right? And,
Yeah.
then it's like, oh my gosh, dude, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to spend a dime, and I got to,
Yeah.
and then it's like, then you almost, like, start to go into conservatory mode, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
broke people think about money, wealthy people think about time. And so I realized
say that again?
Broke people think about money, and wealthy people think about time. And so
good.
I've realized that over the past few years is, gosh, time. If I could just get my time back
Yeah.
as you keep continuing to grow, that was more important than money.
it's way more valuable.
Absolutely, 110%. So that next year, taking the wisdom from my CPA and, of course, my mentors.
Actually, before the next year.
Yeah.
What did you learn in the first year? Obviously, you should have invested more in leads.
Yeah.
What would that have done? For those that are new and trying to understand this business,
Yeah.
what would that have done?
More leads gives you more opportunities. That's what it does.
Yeah.
And you keep funneling through the same leads and the same leads. Well, if you lift the same, you're going to stay the same.
Yeah.
If you keep lifting the same 5-pound dumbbells, you're not going to grow in muscle. The only way to progress is to keep moving up, to keep growing up when it comes to getting more.
Did you door knock age leads? What did you do to make 50K?
Yeah, I absolutely would do about 10 to 15 presentations per week, and I didn't follow the system. I thought that because I was very extroverted and I had the charm and the charisma that I would just win over these potential clients, but I didn't realize how many did I lose because I didn't follow the system. How many did I lose because I thought it was more that I could sell in personality versus expertise. And that's why I made 50,000 versus 6 figures my first year. So to learn, yeah, be a student of the system. Be a student. Become an expert. If you're going to go in for heart surgery, Cody, and you had a challenge with your heart, are you going to want to get somebody that's going to operate on your heart that has the expertise that you're not going to kill me on the table, or someone's like, I'm just going to wing it, going to see where
You're
we're going to
probably
cut
gonna be
this sucker.
fine.
No, yeah, you want someone that has been tested, trialed. They're the expert in their field. And that's exactly what we are. And I feel like so many people, they rush through the process of trying to not really even study the information. They just keep winging it. And they think their personality or their charm or their arrogance can win it over in the sale. But listen, you make money on what you keep, not what you sell. Period. So you might close a sale, but did you keep the sale? Or did you get replaced because somebody actually was an expert that knew what they were talking about?
Yeah.
That really took great care of them. And that's what I realized.
So then the next year.
Oh, yeah. Yes. The next year, I changed a lot. And I felt like each year I've had one word that I focused on. So in 2016, my one word was move.
How do you remember that?
Because I have it all written down.
Still?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So my one word for 2016
Move.
was move. And I just wanted God to move me. But sometimes when you pick a one word versus a New Year's resolution, you're going to get challenged in that word of what not to do.
Yeah.
Right? And you're going to get tested in that. And we grew big time. But boy, did we have to get refined a lot. I realized that I had to be duplicatable.
So then you started thinking about recruiting?
Yes.
Second year?
I always wanted to build a team. I always wanted to build a team.
Where's that come from?
Oh, gosh. When I was 13, my parents were in Amway. I know. They did multi-level marketing in Amway. So I learned a lot of business and people skills then, because when I was 13, instead of my parents giving me like The Hobbit or the Twilight series, my parents were giving me people skill books like The Ultimate Gift and Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Seriously?
Yeah. So
how much of a blessing was that?
Yeah, huge.
Undisguised at the time, because when you're 13, you're like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I would have thought, probably.
100%. My dad, whenever I loved being able to ride in the car with my dad, because he would always play these cassette tapes. And then it was like, CDs at that point too. And it was just these Tony Robbins and all these positive speakers.
Yeah.
And that fed into my soul so much. So, yeah, definitely contributed a lot of that. I mean, imagine when you're 13, you're so moldable at that point as a teenager.
Yeah.
So
and you're starting to think about, sort of, especially as you age a little, like, what am I going to do, after school, after sports, whatever. Like, I know I thought about that kind of stuff a lot as a kid. Like, I think I was 15 selling all the stuff in our shed on eBay for a summer,
that's amazing.
Making
though.
like $5,000 on eBay in a summer and thinking like, oh my gosh, I've arrived.
You're
I'm rich.
Yeah, seriously. That's awesome.
But it is like, it's interesting you say that, because I was around parents that were also, trying to build an insurance, and trying to build something. And it was like kind of cool to be around. It was very blessed in that respect.
Well, I was a very ugly fat kid. So in middle school. So
really?
Yeah, like legit. So I don't know where in the world this like
no one is going to believe you
inside
by the way,
of me
but that's
came
okay.
from.
Dylan's got to find an old picture and put it up. They're never going to believe you. Okay.
Oh my gosh. So if there's any ugly people listening to this, you're gonna have so much hope. But yeah,
we have no ugly people in our audience.
That's right. We attract what we are. I'm just kidding. And but seriously, legit. I mean, I was bullied. Okay. And I remember reading this study about how some of the world's wealthiest people were also bullied.
Huh.
Yeah, you look at Elon Musk, you look at so many other folks that.
Wow.
Yes. Oh, yeah. They got picked on, you know?
just made me think of a story I've never shared.
What? You got bullied. What was it?
Oh my gosh, I've never shared this. I remember
ready to
I was in basketball practice.
Okay. How old?
I was in 7th grade.
Okay.
I was probably 12.
Okay.
At Christian Schools of Springfield.
Okay.
And there was a kid named Jacob.
Wow, you remember his name.
Lumby.
Okay.
That.
Hopefully he's not listening.
Yeah,
maybe he is.
He is. It's my podcast, bro. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
He was, and he's a good person, I'm sure.
Right.
And we were kind of friends, but like
Okay.
he was a bully, and
Wow.
there was a point where I never felt like I was really bullied, but there was a lot of times where like I just didn't feel like the popular kid,
Okay.
And I remember just getting like shoved down in basketball practice.
Dang.
Like he just like freaked out on me and just like shoved me down in the middle of practice. And What's crazy is my dad would have been there. He'd have been like, dude, you get your freaking butt up and go whoop that kid.
That's right. That's
For
right.
sure. For sure. I didn't.
Okay.
I stayed sitting there.
Ooh.
I did. And I still regret just how that whole moment went down. And I've never told a soul.
Wow.
Till now.
So do you think?
But I don't think I was
that-
bullied as a kid. But I think
But
I had
that-
some moments along the way that, to your point, maybe affected me more than I realize. Right? At 12 years old.
I think so.
Maybe.
Maybe that.
I
is
never
what
thought about that
created
until
the
you just
fight
said that.
inside of you. Maybe.
Maybe. There's
Like-
a lot of things that created that, but yeah, maybe part of it for sure. I never thought about that. So you just said that.
Seriously, like I remember my volleyball coach in 9th grade year. He said, "You're never gonna make varsity." And I said, "What?" Look, man. Whenever the world tells you that you can't do something, this is what I teach my daughter.
That'll do it.
Okay.
That'll do it.
I teach my kids when the world says you can't do something, you look them right back and you say, "Watch me."
Yeah.
And I remember telling my coach then, "Watch me." And 4A double champion, captain, okay, of the volleyball team.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
Wow.
absolutely 110%. Like, do not tell me that I can't do something. And I wanted to prove, it wasn't even prove people wrong. I don't really know.
That was almost prove yourself right, maybe. You know? I don't know.
Yeah. I guess you could say that.
Did you, even when they were saying that, did you still believe, did you believe what they were saying, or you were like,
Never.
okay.
Never. And you know, I think that one of the reasons why I fought so hard is because I just wanted my dad to be proud of me. So, like, I mean, imagine, like, here's this hero that you're 13 years young, like, you look up to him, he's a pediatrician, my mom is a nurse, and I just wanted, because I was the baby of my family of 3 other siblings, and they're wonderful, and I just wanted my dad to be proud of me, and because I had never heard that.
Yeah.
So I remember when I made 6 figures in 2016, I asked my dad, I was like, "Dad, why do you not tell me? Like, why do you not tell me that you're proud of me?" And he said, "Ash, I do." I said, "But Dad, you don't." He said, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And it's amazing that you fight so much for that thing. And then it was like, not really a big thing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
so now he says it all the time, which is awesome, and
so cool.
It is really neat.
So cool.
Yeah.
But you know what? It all was fuel to help you build the
It
life
was.
you have. You know?
Absolutely.
I 2 things really quick. These made me think
Yeah.
of. One, there's a test called Clifton Strengths.
Okay.
And it organizes your 34 different strengths from number 1 to number 34.
Oh, what is this called again?
Clifton Strengths.
Clifton
It's like
Strengths.
$70 or something,
Okay,
right?
cool.
Really cool. It'd be great for teams and leaders and
Yeah.
all that to take.
Okay.
Clifton Strengths. It organizes strengths from 1 to 34.
Okay.
Like a lot of different strengths. I could give you a bunch of examples, but like empathy and competition and
Yeah, yeah.
command and relator and like, you know, optimistic and like all this stuff,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
Number 1 for me was competition.
Whoa.
So when you shared some of that, I'm like, when people are like, you will not do this, this will not happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it is the absolute biggest driver for me
Yeah, yeah.
for whatever reason. There's been so many elements of that in our industry where unfortunately, you know, like I remember, this is silly, but I remember in May of 2018,
Okay.
Dylan may have just started working with me. Actually, I don't know if he knows this happened. He's been with me almost 7 years now. I don't even know if he knows this story. I put up a Facebook post
Okay.
in a group,
Okay.
and 'cause this was after I'd been doing the channel for 2.5 years.
Okay.
And literally 2 years and 6 months of doing a YouTube channel and putting out content. And I said, like, when you think of people who have helped you in this industry,
Yeah.
you know, who something like that, who do you think of? And there were hundreds of comments on this post. My name wasn't mentioned once.
Ooh.
And I was doing it because I was thinking about throwing a conference
Wow.
called 8% Nation.
Right.
And that was a big competition driver for me. It's like,
Dang.
you know what? I want to help a lot of people, and I clearly haven't done enough to help them yet.
Dang.
You know? Fuel, right?
Yeah,
Fuel.
seriously.
Big fuel.
Wow.
And then another thing real quick. Sorry, I got some cool
No,
notes.
I think this is
amazing.
awesome.
If you guys
yeah,
are loving
seriously,
this,
like this is great stuff.
let her know in comments
yeah,
and
yeah.
go follow her on Instagram right
Yeah.
now. It's Ashley Colie. Ashley Foor.
Yep, that's my main name.
Colie.
That's
Is there
right.
a dot
Yep.
in there or no?
No, not at all.
On Instagram.
Yep,
Okay.
Instagram. Yep.
Okay. Also, too, Patrick Bet David.
Yeah.
I love him. Listen to his podcast.
Dude's awesome.
He says that every person who's ever accomplished anything of significance, however he words it, he says they had two different types of people in their life. Number one, someone who unconditionally loved them,
Okay.
no matter what,
Yeah.
and they knew it.
Okay.
Number two, the second person. The second person was someone that they felt like they could never do enough
Oh, goodness.
to make them proud.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
So when you said that,
Yeah. It's so true.
made me think about you.
Yeah. That's
Right?
so true.
Crazy.
And you know what's so weird is even as a leader now, I will tell myself this, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? And I don't know, because you only live once. And again, this time factor, you just never know when that day's going to come. And did I do
don't.
enough? Did I matter?
Yeah.
I remember one of my friends, great author and public speaker, his name is Pete Smith, and he said he wrote a book called Did I Matter? And he, to this day, he still has one of the best quotes I've ever heard is, the greatest mark of leadership is in your absence. And that straight up took me, Cody, like 2 days to sink on that quote. Because I'm like, I need to be needed. I need that name. Like, just kind of like what you said. Like, I want my name to be on there. And I just remember him saying, like, it's in your absence. Like,
Wow.
if they're thriving, like, excellent. And you can just step away. But just knowing, like, hey, you don't have to be needed. But you know what I want more than ever now is I just want to be wanted. You've gotten the information from me, whatever it is, but I love having people want to be around me because they feel a certain way. And I feel like in sales, you've got to be able to create that experience for people, whether it's a potential client, then you're doing mortgage protection or final expense or Medicare, and you've got to be able to create an experience where they feel valued. When you do that, man, you have now had it where value exceeds expectations and you have loyalty.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the fact that you are helping a ton of people succeed at a really high level now.
Yeah.
Originally, it was I'm making 50K.
Yeah.
Then it's like I made 6 figures. What was the number? For 2016, you made
126,000.
126,000. That's a big jump.
And
2.5x.
deposits.
Let's go.
It was first time ever making 6 figures.
What was the difference between 2015 and 2016 for you to 2.5? Because there's a lot of people that would be like, dude, I would love to 2.5x my income in 2025. What
Yeah.
do I do?
Okay.
Go.
Get more leads. Refine your schedule. Stop getting distracted by so many distractions. Do the thing that you got to do. That's going to get you the thing that you want. And
Do you think it's that they don't have enough people to talk to, and they're just not
no.
putting
Are you
in the
kidding
work
me?
related to that?
there are 343 million people in the United States currently right now, and there are over what they've even projected in 2030 that there's going to be 101. No, is that now 101 million people over the age of 55 right now?
Seriously,
Yes, it's ridiculous right now. And so,
crazy.
I mean, that's in the senior market because that's
Yep.
our niche. You want to have a demographic that you really kind of have a target
Yours is
audience
mostly
with.
50 plus, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because
Yeah.
they're the ones thinking about death. It's a no-brainer when it comes to
Yep.
life insurance.
Yeah, because we're gonna live forever.
Right. And but they're the ones really trying to get their funeral together and their burial and cremation and stuff like that. So
How much do you enjoy that market as well?
they're just so sweet, but then so grumpy sometimes too. But I think that could be anybody, any person can be that way.
Oh,
And
for
you
sure.
just can't let somebody else's opinion of you dictate your feelings, dictate your mood. You just go for the nose. You just keep going.
Yes.
And I guess one of the things that I always say is, hey, if you didn't make me, you don't get the ability to tell me how to act, how to think, or anything.
Yes.
So therefore, I think what's allowed, even as a lady in this industry, to be very successful and significant is I've been able to control my emotions.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to learn how to manage your emotions because
So-
it can get the best of you.
I agree. Explain that for someone's like thinking like, okay, what does control your emotions mean?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. So, it's almost like you being your worst enemy. So nobody likes hearing no. But that's what the world will tell you. Think about it like this. You said that you're fueled by competition. So a no, that fuels you in a positive way.
Yeah.
Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
So,
But not for everybody.
right.
Naturally.
And yeah. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just have to look at it differently. You've got to look at hard differently. That's why struggles are necessary. The no's are necessary. I think if somebody is intolerable to uncertainty, you're going to be intolerable to success. You're going to be intolerable to progress. You've got to step into uncertainty of, I don't know if this person is going to be a yes, a sale, or a no, but it doesn't matter. What matters is, guess what? I'm just going to follow the numbers because the numbers always work in my favor, period.
Yeah,
as long as you're a student of the system. If you're not a student of the system, you're an idiot. You're just a straight idiot. That's like who goes to, medical school and doesn't study and pass the exam, right? It doesn't happen for you to go
But we go
operate
in,
on
but,
somebody.
but you're right though. We do go into this industry and we think, well, I sold cars, so I'm gonna crush it. No matter what Ashley or Brian or anybody else is doing,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna do me, and I've got a new system. Well, I mean, you said it. Like your first year, to be honest, like you kind of tried to, sounds like, reinvent the wheel and maybe not plug into the system that
Have
was
no
already
wheel.
present, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not play. Yeah, yeah. What's your thoughts on that? Like,
What?
well, just how others can be like, okay, because so many people that are new, they are being told exactly what to do to succeed,
Right.
but their brain is blocking them from doing exactly what they're being told to succeed.
Yeah.
When deep down they know if I did it, it would probably work.
Yeah.
But it's almost like an ego thing where it's like, yeah, but I kind of think this way would work better because my previous experience, or I just personally want to try something else, I think that's a huge blocker for a lot of people. Because every agent listening, if they had to find someone successful, like I'm reading Tony Robbins' book, Ultimate Power from 1986, something like that. And he's talking about the importance of modeling.
Okay.
Finding something that is successful and working and modeling and doing exactly that.
Sure.
Modeling good behavior, modeling a good attitude, not modeling depression to get out of depression, right? Like all these different things he's talking about. It's like super powerful. This is why he calls it the ultimate power. And during that, at the end of the day, agents could, they're going to see you.
Right.
They may reach out to you today or whenever Dylan decides to air this, that day. But when that happens, though, they're seeing someone who's successful, who made $1.2 million in 2022, 1.2 million in something in 2023, and about 1.3-ish or more in 2024, and is going to probably make 1.5 to 2 or 3, who knows, in 2025.
Correct.
They're seeing it.
Right.
Will they model it? Because they're sitting there saying, I'm struggling, I'm broke, I don't like where I'm at, I want to win, I'm going through what Ashley talked about, I relate to her story, all these things are happening, and they're sitting there right now, and they have a chance to model someone who is finally crushing it, not by your definition, by their definition, but most won't.
I think that people struggle because of their lack of capacity. I feel like people struggle because of their lack of processes, their work ethic. I don't think people are naturally lazy. I feel like people,
I think when
they
they
just
find
don't
something
know
that
what
excites
their
them.
why is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can see somebody that plays video games all day for the 6 hours, and you're like, how can you do that?
They're working
But
hard at that.
They are, and they're really stinking
Technically.
good.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, some people make millions off of this stuff,
Yeah.
But hey, I think the matter is they enjoy that. And I think that when you step into whatever career it is, it's not so much that I need you to love this.
Yeah.
What I need you to do is love the result of this business. That's what you're after. That's what should motivate you. That's what should drive you to another level, is the results that it can bring.
Yeah.
The choices, the travel, the significance, the fulfillment. There's so many things that this arena can offer if you will just go to work. Katie McConville, she's an agent on our team. Dude, that's what she says. She says, hey, just go to work. Just go to work. Period.
Super complicated.
You know what? What is it? I always say this. I say that complexity is easy, simplicity is hard. I want to say Dan Martell maybe said that, but Think about it. People make
true.
things so difficult.
Yeah.
And that's easy for them to make it difficult. But simplicity, just following a recipe,
Yeah.
you're going to get the result of it. But why is it so hard to just do the things that are necessary to get the right result? And those that do, make it.
I've got to change the recipe.
Let's go.
You know, I don't know why, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question.
P.S. 2020 is when I hit my first million. In COVID.
It's 2015. 5 years later, $1 million during COVID.
Correct. When the world shut down, 49 million
good.
Americans lost their jobs. 73% of small business owners had to shut their door. And here we are. I went from 2019 making $689,000 in deposits to then that 2020
Wow.
crushing it.
So-
And our one word was fight
Heh.
in 2020. And I remember
and that
like,
was before.
so crazy. Like
That was before.
Yes, like we came off of such an incredible year in 2019, and I'm like, man, I'm like gonna relax, you know, like enjoy the fruits of the labor.
gosh.
And then it was just on my heart, fight,
Yeah.
go and fight. It was in 1 Samuel, and like David to Goliath, go fight. And I'm like, no, I just fought in 2019, and then it was no fight. And I was like, bam, here comes COVID, and again, assume the best, but prepare for crisis.
Yeah.
When that hit, you got to formulate and you got to stay ahead of it. And that's exactly what we did. I think, again, if you are intolerant to uncertainty, you will be intolerant to progress. So things are going to happen. Outside circumstances are going to happen.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it? I feel like the reason why people are so successful and significant is because of the responses that they make based on the crap that's thrown at them. You will always have a choice. When people say, I didn't have a choice, you
Yeah,
always
you always
have a choice
Yeah.
and how you're going to respond to it.
True.
And it just so happened that, hey, maybe I learned a lot from the mistakes that I made, but I'm glad I made those mistakes.
Yeah.
And for people to have, oh, well, I have a fear of failure. No, you really don't. You have a fear of rejection. Let's face it.
That's right.
You're not afraid to fail. You're afraid of what you're going to look like if you don't, like if you do fail.
Yeah.
Right? So you're
Yeah.
afraid of rejection. So yeah.
I got a ton of questions. I could talk for hours. We are not going to. But
Boom.
goodness gracious, I got so many freaking
Bring
questions.
it.
Here's a couple more though.
Okay, ready, set, go.
I said last one, and then you started talking again.
Okay,
I'm like, gosh, dang
yes.
it. I had more.
Okay.
Did you still run face to face during COVID?
So we did for about a month, and we tried to do the Zoom. We were so open to it, and you've got to be open to being adaptable to change. Like
Because
that is
you're
one
like
of the biggest
you're
characteristics you have.
rock solid face to face organization.
Yes.
Great culture.
Yeah.
Crushes it. I do think it's easier for,
Yeah.
for an agent to go out and make money consistently
Yeah.
by being face to face.
Yeah,
I really do,
It's,
right?
I mean, it's that human
Seen
raw
it to be
connection
true.
that people have. I
Sure.
mean,
Can you do well over the phone? No doubt. But
Yeah,
like,
for
have I
sure.
seen it to be true? Yes.
absolutely.
And I had to start out like that, and I'm so glad I was pretty much forced to
Yeah.
do that. I was forced to go face to face,
Mm-hmm.
not to door knock and other stuff, but to like. And I learned so much. So much skill was developed
Oh,
when you're with
yeah.
people all day, every
Absolutely.
day. You know.
That's the real and the raw of it. I mean,
Yeah.
you stepping into somebody's house,
Yeah.
and you don't. I mean, yeah, but yeah, you learn a lot.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
But then you also, I feel like, you're just so grateful because some of these folks, they might live in Section 8 homes or, you know,
Yep.
their house might be falling apart, but man, they're just so joyful.
Yeah.
And it just makes you just so warm on the inside that what you're doing really does matter.
I walked through a trailer one time,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to walk on this wood plank because there were holes in the bottom of the trailer.
Yeah, yeah,
And I had to walk across this wood plank to go to the bathroom.
yeah.
So I was out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, I gotta pee. And then I'm like walking there. I'm like, should I just hold it? Am I?
Yeah.
You know, crazy. Like it's sad. It is.
I think that's one of the reasons why I did actually start the foundation is because when you're in this kind of arena, you just want to give back. You want to give back to your community, you know, and that is one of the reasons why I did start. It's called the Dream Makers Ripple Effect Foundation. And yeah, so
What's the foundation do?
Sure. Yeah. So it's a 501c3 nonprofit charity. We use our own money for it. Just this past year, we started in December 2021, and it really just started. I felt like, I wouldn't say the word, it was always inside of me, but I always just wanted to give back.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think I had a team of about maybe 30 agents. This was like 2017. And I said, okay, here's $5, you guys, at Christmas time. Go buy somebody a Starbucks. And then the next year it was $10. And the next year it was $25. And the next year it was like a $25 gift card. And then I just remember I got a call from Michaela Mobley. She's one of the top sales managers on my team. And she said, Ashley, we have a little boy who his mom stopped paying on his life insurance. His name is Benjamin, and he has cancer, and they can't get him reinstated. And I said, one moment. And I made a call to that life insurance carrier, and they were able to reinstate his policy. And that family, Michaela's family, actually took care of those premiums for the rest of the year.
Wow.
And I just told Michaela, I said, hey, I was like, I need you to go see that family, and I need you to go get them on the phone with me. And it was just this, you ever just feel like the Holy Spirit just kind of comes over you? And I just remember getting on the phone with Natalie, Benjamin's mom, and I just said, we're taking care of your Christmas, not just Benjamin's, but we're taking care of your Christmas, all of your kids, and also we're taking care of the next 6 months of all your clothes, the necessity items. Because people don't think about that also. It's not just about Christmas, but gosh, to be able to have, you know, the underwear and pants and shoes. And I know what it's like to be that kid, you know, that doesn't have the cool clothes.
Yeah.
And I just remember we're gonna start this, and we did. And we call one of our operations is called Operation Christmas Blessing. Y'all need to follow me on YouTube. I'm telling you, our last one, because this is our 4th year. Amazing. It's really cool. We've teamed up with Target. They're phenomenal. We had over 150 people outside of Target in a big old circle. We had over 48 people in our community that year that we were able to help. And you know what the neat thing is? It doesn't just do something for the family that's broken. It's also for the volunteers. It feeds them too. To be able to come alongside someone that has nothing, that all they want is a pillow for Christmas or a blanket. And they get to shop for clothes and really cool jackets, and that does something to a volunteer, and it does something to our community.
Big time.
Yeah, like we actually won, I think it was 2 years ago, we won the Nation of Neighbors Award with Royal Neighbors.
Oh, wow.
And they gave us a grant for $10,000, and then we started it's called the Benjamin Speak Life. So that little boy, when he was 5, about 2 years ago, he passed away because the cancer came back. And if you've ever had to go to a kid's funeral,
yeah, it's rough.
Cody, I'm telling you, like, there are no words when you see a tiny casket, and it just makes you more of, what can I do to give back? And so I remember we created the Benjamin Speak Life Scholarship in his honor, that all 27 schools in my community, they all can tap into this, but they have to do one act of kindness that will create a ripple effect in their community, and they create a 3-minute compilation video of it. And you talk about these high school senior students.
Wow.
Amazing. To get a $5,000 scholarship, we gave it away to 2 college or upcoming college kids. Well, how cool is that?
So cool.
You know, like I said, good people, great people, they'll do good things with money. It's just a tool. That's all it is.
It allows you to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
You know, you made your first $1 million. I was going to ask, I'm not even going to ask the question now, but I was going to ask the question of how did it feel to make $1 million in 2020 with everything going on? And did you feel guilty? But at the end of the day, you're able to do all of these things that you weren't able to do before, because you stayed the course. And then when you started making really good money, you started creating foundations and giving back. And like, you know, it's super cool. Super cool.
I would say the same way it felt. So it's not so much in a year. It was always by month. On the first of every single month, I would add up all my deposits. Even like on my iPad, I break it down to every single deposit.
Previous month.
Yeah, from the previous month on the first. But this is also what I do. Is I always send a message to Greg Bain, Jordan Smith, and Craig Harvey. And I would say, hey, guess what I made last month? And I would add it all up. And every time, I'm telling you, for years I did this, I would cry. Because I always wanted to beat better than my best the previous month.
Yeah.
And I remember when I made $10,000 for the first time, that was in May of 2016. I was like, oh my gosh, I made $10,000 in a month. This is crazy. And then I remember the last time I made $20,000 in a month was actually crazy, May of 2017. And then when you make $100,000 in deposits in a month, you're like, this is, I mean, I just remember crying profusely on the phone with Jordan Smith and Craig Harvey, like, thank you. Thank you. Because what this is going to be able to do. And oh my gosh, you're just like, wow. So yeah.
Cool. It's crazy.
It really is.
Super cool.
Very much so.
You're freaking awesome, by the way. This podcast has been
Thanks.
amazing. We would keep doing this for hours. You guys vote in comments if we should bring her back at some point. We're like,
Yes!
we're like an hour.
Yes!
Dylan's like, how long is this going to go? We're like 54 minutes, I think. I'm looking at your clock and comparing my notes. I don't know, but something like that. It's been really good.
Yeah.
You are amazing. I could talk for hours, but you've given so many incredible nuggets. Hope you guys have been taking notes. If they would like to learn more about you, get more information.
Yeah, for sure. Any questions that they might have about just the financial services realm or life insurance or, any question in regards to anything that they might have on their heart, feel free to reach out to me. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Of course, it's Ashley Colie, Colie, and just DM me. Cool. I'd love to hear from you.
Also, what has your experience been like?
Yeah.
A part of your first Power Player trip?
Okay, well, I told you like an hour ago before this podcast, I said I feel like a tadpole. Legit. I feel like a tadpole in an ocean of great white, like sharks and phenomenal creatures. Like, my gosh,
We're not eating baby fish. We're not
No, but I'm just
we're looking
the whole
after the
time,
tadpoles.
I've taken so many notes, but gosh, what a world we have.
Yeah.
And I feel, man, I'm very grateful for the solid focus I've been able to have. But man, to come alongside other great minds that have so much experience in their field. Yeah. Wow. It's very rare that you'll get me speechless, Cody, but genuinely, and I've told you this for the past probably 8 hours, this is it's just been quite an experience. And I'm very, very grateful. Very, very grateful indeed.
Well, you're doing amazing. You're a great addition to this awesome group. And we appreciate you being on the podcast. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Also, for you guys, man, if you're like, how do I get on the podcast? How do I come hang out in Scottsdale and Power Player trips and travel, right, with Ashley Colie and Brian Celestine and all these amazing people that are hanging out, right, from NASB and other companies around the world? Shoot me a DM or go to CodyAskins.com and learn more about Power Players. Hope you enjoyed today. I would encourage you, go follow Ashley Colie, 2 O's in the 4, Colie on Instagram, and continue to watch what she's doing. She loves helping agents. If you're out there and you're like, dude, I would like some help, I'm sure she would love to help. Thanks for listening to the Power Players podcast, and we'll see you on the next one. Adios.